Hey up troops, it's A Littleton here again with another video, and this time we're going to be looking at Melusi. Now Melusi for me is one of the strongest defenders you can play at the moment in Siege. She gets 3 of these bad boys. They make this noise. That was smooth, wasn't it? She's super strong. She's great at denying certain areas, using information and playing off that information, but we'll go through the details as we get into the video. So despite being quite a new operator into Rainbow Six, Melusi's already been through quite a few changes. She had a main weapon swap from a T5 SMG to an MP5, and the way that her main utility, the Banshee, these bad boys work, has also changed as well. It was classed as a nerf. Depending on how you use them, you could argue it was a bit of a buff maybe. Probably a nerf overall. But the way it's changed is completely changed the way you have to play her, really. We'll get into that in the video. Now, I normally bang this in at the end of the video, but I'm going to say it now. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Give us a comment below on which operator we should do next. It really helps me out. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it makes me day. Thank you very much. As always, if you don't want to hear me give a bit of a speech and a bit of information on Melusi, the timestamps are below on how to use the Banshee and some cool spots on maps where to use them. So the key thing to take from Melusi is 2 things. 1, play off the information that the Banshee gives you. As soon as you hear that sound go, you know there's an operator in the area. Play off the sound. The second thing, which is probably the most important thing, is if there's an attacker coming through a door and you're on the left-hand side of the door, you want to be putting the Banshee on the right-hand side of the door. So what I mean by that is when the attacker comes through their door, they're going to have to turn to the right to shoot the Banshee, whilst you can swing them from the left. They have to turn the back to where you are. You don't want to have it so they turn left and they're already looking in the direction that you're going to be holding from. You don't have to make them turn the back, look up, look down, get creative with it. Now, you can use Melusi's Banshees to get information. If you've got a pre-placed C4, you can blow it straight away. If you've got a default plant spot and you want to know someone's on default plant, there's an example of that, in fact, in this video for Bank. You can use that as well. Get creative with the way you use the sounds. Obviously, the main way is going to be to swing and kill the attacker, but use it to know when someone's in a certain area of a map to your advantage as well. Essentially, get creative, make it hard for the attackers. Let's have a look at the video, see some sweet spots and how to use the Banshees. Let's get stuck into it. Okay, so let's get started then. I'm going to start with the absolute basics of Melusi. So if you already know the basics of Melusi and you just want to know some cool Banshee spots, the maps are in the timestamps below. In terms of the absolute basics of Melusi, I'll put a Banshee on the floor and I'll show you what I mean. So you can place these on hard walls, soft walls, surfaces, floors, anywhere you can get to, and the animation prompt comes up there that you can see in the middle of the screen. As you put it down, you'll see that there's a circle or an area of effect that comes into play. You can see it there. So this will mean whenever an attacker comes into this area, this Banshee will open, give out the famous wub wub sound, and will cause the screen shake and really slow the attacker down coming through there. I'll give you an example of what that looks like now. So I'll give you a demonstration what it looks like to go through a Banshee. You'll get close enough to the area of effect and you'll see it open up. As you can see, we've got the screen shake. I'm really slow. You can't sprint whatsoever. The screen's shaking like mad. I can't hear a thing. We've got Melusi breakdancing like mad. But this is what it looks like. It's not a pleasant experience, and it's really tough to win a fight when you're in this situation with the screen shake and the sound and everything else. Once it's open, you can just shoot it out, or you can melee it if you're close enough. But yeah, you just shoot it out once it's open, and you're free of the effects of it. What this means is when it comes to placing a Banshee down, let's just use Cool Vibes as an example. What you don't want to do with a Banshee is put this over here. That means the area effect only starts on this 3rd step. An attacker could be in this, holding this angle here to the top of Cool Vibes, and that Banshee would not be going off. What we want to do is give an early warning indicator that somebody's at the bottom of the stairs, using Cool Vibes as an example. So a better position for the Banshee on this occasion would be hidden in behind this lamp. It's still quite obvious, but it's just hidden out of the way. As soon as the... Sorry, I didn't show you where the circle of effect was there. That's well done, Andy. Let's try that again. When you see the circle effect here, this will mean that this will now go off as soon as an attacker enters this area here. So right at the bottom of the stairs. Now obviously if you want an earlier warning, you can put this a little bit further down the stairs, on the wall here. But what you don't want to do is go too early. You know, you don't want to be someone being the bottom of Cool Vibes here and we can get rid of the Banshee and then push up free. So you want to be getting the early warning roughly, in my opinion, at the bottom of the stairs or just before. That area there is spot on. Now another tip for placing the Banshees down. You don't want to be putting them in the line of sight of the angle that the attacker is going to be holding. Okay, what I mean by that, I haven't worded that very well because it's not easy to explain, but what I mean by that is, if they're going to be pushing up Cool Vibes, the only place an attacker is going to be is on their left, so somewhere up here. There's going to be no one here. Obviously, there's a wall there. So what we want to do is when the Banshee goes off, we want them to have to turn the crosshairs to the right, meaning that if somebody does swing them from the stairs here, they're going to have to go from looking over here to all of a sudden having to flick over to this side. If you put the Banshee this side, like so, they're waiting for the Banshee to open to destroy it, and somebody appears here. It's a much easier shot than having to flick over to here. And I'll show you another couple of examples. So we're now on VIP. I'm now going to place 2 Banshees down. I'm going to put one in front of the box here. I'm going to put one on the wall here. I know it's a soft wall. I'm just using this as an example. The Banshee here will go off before you come out the door, which will give you an early warning, but it means the attacker can destroy that Banshee before leaving VIP and exposing themselves to bar or vase or 90 or wherever it is the attacker's going to be, the defender's going to be holding them from. With the Banshee here, it means someone's got to come out the door. They've then got to find where the Banshee is, as they're in the area of effect of it, and then shoot the Banshee. Now, 99 times out of 100, somebody's going to be holding here from bar or from vase. No one's really going to be playing 90. It depends what side you're playing. But again, this is just an example. So somebody comes out of here and they want to be looking towards bar or vase, or vase if you're across the Atlantic. You're looking to the right. You hear the Banshee going off. Now, what you want them to have to do is turn around, destroy the Banshee that's on the left, and then turn back. In that time, the idea being, you swing them from this corner, and it's game over. If the Banshee was here, they could come out of here, see the Banshee. Oh, yeah, I'll shoot that. And they're still holding the same angle. You want them to have to get off the angle that they're going to be holding. So to show you how to use the Banshee in practice, what I'm going to do is put this the Banshee on there behind the chair here. Now, it only needs a pixel line of sight to go off, so as you can see that under the chair, you can see the way in from the door there. So we're going to wait for the Melusi to go off, and then swing whoever it is coming through the door there. You're actually going to see that Melusi spot later on when I talk about it, about where to put them in Coastline. But let's just say we're here. There's a Fear's coming into Aqua. We wait for the cue of the Banshee. Oh, someone's in there. Probably hit the one tap first time, not third time though, if I was you. Okay, I'll go through some of the rank maps now, showing you where I think the best Banshees can be placed. And the first one we're going to talk about is exactly where we've just demonstrated the effects of a Banshee, is right here. So get this pillar out of the way. Drop the Banshee in the corner here. Keep it hidden, so if somebody comes through the door, they can't see it straight away. Obviously, they might see it if they drone it, but don't worry about that. When they come through the door, the Banshee goes off as soon as they get into this area here. And they're going to look on the wall for the Banshee, or wonder where it is. Little do they know it's behind this chair. This has worked for me so many times in ranked. Obviously, you've just got to you've got to take effect of the Banshee. The area of effect is like there. So by the time they get past there, if you haven't done anything with it, the Banshee's been pointless, apart from giving you sound calls. So make sure that you can play off the Banshees wherever you put them, or you've got a teammate who can play off them when they find out that the Banshees are going off. So I'm not going to go around every single choke point on every map, but I'm just going to show you some pretty cool spots on a couple of maps. Again, so this is fairly obvious. You know, service is going to be one of the busiest areas of the map. So put it somewhere, again, out of the way where the attacker was going to have to move their line of sight. So when they come through the door, you don't want it on the floor there. So when they're coming through the door, you see the Banshee going off, they just shoot it there and they carry on pushing through. Like I said, you want to make them turn left here to destroy that. And at that point, that's when you want to be taking the gunfight, when they're not even able to look in your direction. But yeah, up there on service as a spot-on place. This one, again, is really simple, but I feel it's a really good one to demonstrate playing off the sounds of Melusi. Put it to the side, on the right-hand side of the door on sunrise. Play behind the bar. Whenever you hear somebody coming through, obviously, you don't even... You know, fire a couple of warning shots, let someone know you're there, make them worry about it a little bit. Obviously, you've got to be careful of grenades. But as soon as you hear that wub-wub or the Banshee go off, as soon as you do, just get up there and get the kill. Obviously, you can push around the bar if you want to. But just use the sound, wait for the sound to go off. You don't need to peek that until that goes off. You don't need to worry about it. But that's just another example of, again, they come in, they want to look at where you are behind the bar, but they can't. They've got to kill the Banshee. And if they don't destroy the Banshee, they're going to push through here and get wub-wubbed or Bansheed all the way through. And at that time, you just make your decision and pick your time when to pop up and get the kill. Okay, before we get started with the different placements, I'm going to show you 2 more tricks that you can do with Melusi. I've brought Melusi's shotgun. I would never normally recommend taking this shotgun in a game, but I'm going to use this just to demonstrate what I mean. If you're playing in a stack, you're going to have a Maestro or a Smoke or a Mute or someone else with a shotgun, Mirror, Frost, whoever it's going to be, who can make these holes for you. But you can... I'm going to use this example here. It's not necessarily the best example, but it does work. You normally make a line of sight or feet holes along this this area anyway. So what you can then do is place a Melusi, say for example here. Again, it's not always the best example, but I'm just going to use it just to demonstrate the purpose here. Now, whenever anyone comes up yellow, as soon as they get to this point here, you're going to get, well, this point here where you can see the Melusi Banshee. you're going to get a sound call that somebody's on yellow. Only when they get here will it go off. It won't go off here, obviously, because it's not in line of sight, but as soon as you get here, it's going to go off. It's going to be a great indication that someone's on yellow. This can be used anywhere. This can also be done in, let's just say, for example, we make footholes in bathroom. And we put a Banshee on the floor here. Again, it's not the best example, but I'm just doing it to prove a point. You can get creative with wherever you want to do this. As you come up the stairs, once you get to the area of effect here with the Melusi Banshee, it'll go off now as well, because you've got the line of sight. So that's just one example there. The other example I was going to give you is that you don't necessarily need to use the Melusi to slow somebody down or to win a gunfight. You can just use it purely for information. Knowing that you're not going to swing someone if they come in through the double windows, everyone knows that the default plant is about here. So let's just say you want to play below, or you're playing here, wherever it might be. Obviously, there's no right and wrong on that. Put the Banshee down so when you know someone's going to rappel in. And if you're playing mute or whoever it is you're playing here with the C4, you may have pre-placed it below the windows already, or you've just heard them rappel in. You can drop the hatch, drop down and pretend this is a C4, and throw the C4 underneath and destroy them. Use that the Melusi to know that somebody's in a certain area of the map, and also get your teammates to axe around it. Don't just hear a Melusi, let it get shot out and do nothing about it. Make sure you axe on the information that the Melusi Banshees are giving you. One final way you can get creative with Melusi is through, I keep saying one final way, one last thing, and then I think of something else I haven't shown you, so ignore if I've said one last thing about 9 times so far. I think it was Bikini Body who actually found out they work through drone holes as well. So you can put a Melusi Banshee here. Let's just make a rotate here quickly. Obviously this is going to be reinforced in the game, but it just saves me having to spend 8 seconds running around the map. You can then have somebody playing in VIP restaurants, or VIP section, VIP, whatever you want to call this. And once an opponent gets to the area of effect on the drone hole, only through the drone hole, which is going to be like here, you're going to get the classic sound of the Banshee opening up, and you can swing on that information. So from here, you wait for the Banshee to go off, and you can act on the information. No opponent's going to see that there until they get there, unless they drone it. The other thing you could do with it, if you were playing a mute with a shotgun, for example, or a Cade, and you can open this up with a revolver, you can open a line of sight up for a shotgun, what? Open a line of sight for a C4 up here. I haven't got a shotgun or a C4, but let's pretend I have. So the reinforcement for the wall ends on that wood there, so you could open up that line of sight and then get on the right angle to lob a C4 over there and get the kill based off the information on the angle you're going to need to get for the C4 is going to be about sort of here. And lob that over the top so it lands about here. And blow the C4, but again, you can use that for information. There's a ton of drone holes you can use that for. So yeah, get creative and see what you can come up with. So whilst we're on Kafe, I might as well show you some spots here. I mean, this is pretty obvious, and a lot of these are going to be quite obvious because nowadays, now you haven't got a Malay, the Melusi Banshee, you don't have to get as creative with the spots. You've just got to be clever with it. This is a screamer though. This works for 2 reasons. As usual, again, when somebody comes through prep, you're going to make them want to turn right. They can't destroy you from here. They've got to expose themselves to at least here before that'll be destroyed. And by that point, you can get an angle from the corner of the window. But also, 95% of the time, there's a rotate that's made either on that side of the wall or this side of the wall. Breach, sorry, from the attackers. And if I just put this down one more time in the corner, you'll see that the area of effect reaches all the way over prep. Right to this corner here. So no matter which side they come from or the door, this Banshee's going to make a sound. You're then playing prep window, or one of your teammates is playing prep window, and you can act on the information. This one works twofold, to cover the hatch and to cover people coming out of top red, but just right on the floor here behind the cabinet, well, adjacent to the cabinet, should I say. That's going to cover the door, as you can see, and get a portion of new hatch when somebody drops. That isn't going to go off until somebody gets to about here. And then you get into the area of effect. And by this point, when you're here, you can be peeked from stage or from piano. Same for somebody coming out of red. You're going to come out and get to here. The Banshee's going off behind them. They've got to turn left. At that point, act on the information. You're playing here. You hear the Banshee go. Have a look what's going on. Watch, obviously, you've got to check the hatch angle first. And then check there. This is just a random tip that I'm going to throw into this video. But do what's called a siege friend. I laugh because we made a joke about it. But a siege friend who you might know, a guy called Red GG, taught me this when I first started playing Siege. And it's a really useful bit of information. It's not really relevant to Melusi, but I might as well tell you whilst I'm talking about this. When you're peeking an angle like this, if you hear the Banshee go, don't just wide peek this, because then you're open to there and there. Do what Red calls pie the room, okay? Now, that might be a more common phrase somewhere, but it's not over where I live in the UK. So when you hear the Banshee go off, the first angle you've got to check is here, before exposing yourself to here. So you only have to check one angle at a time. So check the new hatch angle first. If no one's there, then the noise must be coming. The player must be coming, triggering the Melusi from the top of red. So check that angle first, and then check that angle. Pie the room. We're in Oregon now, and if you haven't already got the theme from your videos, the first thing you should do on this site is shoot that in radio. So, we're going to talk about upstairs. I'm going to show you two things here. The first one is to play off on white stairs. Place this just up from where the dormitory sign is, about another 2 bricks up under the wood. Look at where the area effect goes. So right on the bottom of the stairs, that is. So anyone who jumps in from the window will get affected by it just as they touch the bottom of the step. And likewise, coming from showers or coming from Z or Z. As soon as you hear that a Banshee open, you know exactly where they're going to be if you've placed that in this position here. You know, give or take a little bit to the left or right, but look at the dormitory sign, go up 2 bricks, and just go under the wood. As soon as you hear that go off, you know straight away they're at the bottom of the stairs. You don't have to worry that they might be halfway up. As soon as you hear that go off, you know they're there. So, like I said to you about the Kafe angle underneath new hatch and top red, don't just swing out like this because you don't know if they're going to be under the window holding here. You don't know if they're going to be at the bottom of the stairs holding here. So when you come around, don't just do a big old wide swing. Check this angle first, and then check that angle second. Don't expose yourself to the both at the same time. The final one in Oregon is one that your smoke player will thank you for forever. Rotate's going to be here or here, usually here, along with a shield here. Don't put the Melusi Banshee on this wall, because when the attacker, I keep saying person, when the attacker comes in from here, they can shoot that without ever having to expose themselves to elbow. Put it instead on this wall. This will then go off as soon as they go past this angle here, and will affect them all the way down to elbow as well. The smoke's behind the shield. He hears the Banshee go off. You can even see the Banshee go off, and makes use of the information. So we're on to Villa, and this one's an absolute screamer. You might recognise it from the thumbnail. So ultimately we want to try and get the Banshee on the 1 ping there. We do that by vaulting over main stairs, landing on the handrail below, spinning round, and popping the Banshee on the wall. So over the handrail, turn around, don't move or you'll slide off. Get the Banshee on the wall. Well, slide like that, I said. There we go. It can take a couple of tries. It's not the smoothest place to put it. But there we go. As soon as they go up main stairs now, that's going to go off at this point here. Some people might not even know where it is. They're looking here or wherever they think it is. But I think that's a really solid Banshee. Now, this one's quite contentious in study. I like to put a Banshee here, in the middle of the sofa and the chair. And what that'll do is you see the area of effects. As soon as somebody walks into study and reaches this area here, it's going to go off by seeing it underneath the chair and behind the trolley. Only when they get to here will it go off, and when we're looking for it, it might just spy it there, but we don't know where it is. The reason it's a bit contentious is because it is going to get destroyed quite quickly, but in that point in time, ideally, what's going to happen is you're going to know where they are when the Banshee goes off, make a play on it. The only thing is with this one, and be aware of it, if somebody walks into study and comes left, it isn't going to go off until they get to here, and by that point, it's an easy frag on the easy shot onto the Banshee. So just think about that. It's, like I say, it's a bit contentious. I like it. Not everyone does. If you put the Melusi Banshee here, you've got to punch out the case that you can see I've already destroyed. Put the Banshee there. Prep this window ready for a run out. 99% of the people that come up to this balcony will drone. Well, I'll show you what they'll do. They'll rappel up here. They'll throw a drone on the floor, and they'll stand here as they drone. So you prep that window. Wait for him to go on the drone. Melusi Banshee goes off. Thanks very much. See you later. This one's a little bit spicy, but doesn't have a success rate as high as I'd like, but it is a pretty cool thing to do. Put the Banshee slightly higher up Astro Stairs, not at the bottom of Astro Stairs. So it goes off at this point. The noise from the Banshee is going to be quite loud. Make sure you've got an impact spare, and when you're playing an Astro, that starts going off. Pop the hatch, drop down, and pop whoever it is bottom Astro. Ideally, the sound of the Banshee going off will mask everything that's going on. He's going to be more worried about the Banshee than an explosion he's just heard, and at that point, hopefully, he's a freebie at the bottom of Astro for you. We're on bank now, and this one's actually really good for defending open area, which is a key part of the map for any of the sides, really. I did see this on another video, so I can't claim this as my own, so whoever it was, thanks very much. But shoot out the brown books here on this sort of metal trolley type thing. We're eventually going to get the Banshee up here. Punch out lamp 1, punch out lamp 2, and punch out the flag. Get rid of a couple of the books along the way. I don't know why you have to shoot a couple of the books, but you just do, otherwise it doesn't work. Wait for the vault command you can see there. Up onto the trolley and just sprint your way across to the end. get your Banshee on the wall here. As you can see, the area of effect covers the door. What I then like to do is one of two things, is play in kitchen. You know where the doorway is, obviously. It's the middle of it's there. Play in kitchen. As soon as you hear that Banshee go off, you know, you watch yourself from the window, obviously, but, you know, spray in the general area, or just have an impact spare. As soon as you see the, as soon as you hear the impact go, the Banshee go off, impact the wall, whatever it is right there with the pants down. Sticking with bank, then, this one is quite situational, but I really like its niche use of information. What I like to do, you know the default plant which goes here. So let's say this wall gets thermited open or aced or whatever it is. And the default plant is you back up here and you plant here. This wall protecting you. Now, the way you can get information if that's going ahead is put a Melusi Banshee on the desk right here. That will go, look at the area of effect. That will go off if someone's on default plant spot, but won't go off if somebody comes through the door. Now, you might say, why is that information good? I want to know if anyone's in the area. I don't disagree. It's quite situational. If you're playing the smoke, or if you're playing Tachanka, or anyone, an Echo, or Maestro, whatever it might be, whose job it is to try and stop that plant going down, or if you've got a C4, if you're the mirror here, sorry, there's a rotate there. Ignore that. If you're playing the person who's going to try and stop the plant, or even if you're here and you need to swing to stop the plant, whatever it might be, that Banshee there will give you the information that someone's on the default plant spot. It won't tell you that someone's in the door. Little cheeky one for Chalet in the solar area of the map. Jump up onto the corner here. Bob it down. Look at where the area effect is, right at the top of the stairs. You know, as soon as that goes off, the person's at the top of the stairs. Make note of where that is, and if you're swinging it from master, obviously watch the windows. You know where the top of the stairs is. Same if you're coming from bathroom. Just know where that is. Obviously, you can either do that or jump down and... Hello. Get them that way instead. So there we have it. That sums the Melusi video up. Hopefully you've taken something from that. Hopefully you can use those strats in ranked or whatever it is you play. I'll say it again. Do me a favor, sub to the channel, like the video, give me a comment on the operator you want to see next. I stream on Twitch 4 days a week. The socials are in the corner now. Well, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.